Not going to waste a lot of time in this video. Just wanted to collect some thoughts. This is going to be a bunch of general things. If you're new, subscribe, like to join the club. I'm going to continue to go over a lot of returning player and new player information coming up on the 10th anniversary. Hopefully get you prepared, hopefully get you set up. You can use this alongside with other creators, other people, friends, whoever are trying to help you get into the game. But for now, let's look at this list. This is not a tier list. This is not a tier list. Do not get mad at me. This is not a tier list, okay? This is my expected character group of who will stay strong going into 2025. This is not a list of characters who are just the best, though some of them are. This is not an order. This is just a grouping of characters I think will be pretty good or strong for the remainder of 2025. Please remember that aside from Glorio and DAIMA Goku, all of these characters are old, aside from the gods here, who will appear on the anniversary banner. All of these characters are now either 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, a year old, okay? These guys are going to EZA in February. These guys are going to probably set the tone for TURs going forward. With that in mind, we need to start getting set up so that you can have competent teams. Why do you need competent teams? Because even though these teams are typically made up of some very samey characters, like if you build a team and you're new, you're probably going to want characters like Vegeta, Rainbow Orb changing, floats off, has a strong ability set, characters like this Broly here, technically a strong leader set for his specific team, but there's a reason he's not up here. It's because his leader skill and his conditions are very stagnant, and we don't know what uncontrollable power is going to look like, right? Same with this character in power absorption, but not same with this character and his unconditional rage and just overall power. Not like this character with his unconditional power, you know what I mean? So the unconditional powerful characters are typically up here. The reason Jiren's not is because I do not think he is to the level of these characters, though he is very good himself, okay? So take this down, take a screenshot, save this video, come back to it. If you are a new player or a returning player, you have any of these characters in your account, just know that they will be pretty useful, and I think they should sustain for the remainder of the year, heading into about Golden Week-ish, or heading into about Worldwide Download Celebration, where I typically think characters get phased out by the harder and harder fights. Of course, this is all subject to change. The 10th anniversary could be low power creep in terms of its event, or could be insanely high power creep in terms of its event. We literally do not know. I think the hardest fight this year was the one we got in Tanabata, right? Reminder, I'm on global, so yeah, I think it was Tanabata for JP, which was the Goku and Frieza fight. That said, if you're a returning player, you probably have the brats. You probably have this character because you probably pulled over this guy. You probably have these 2 anniversary units, which means you're looking pretty good. I think those 4 characters should carry you. And now let's get into some new player habits, because you might not fully understand what you should be doing once the 10th anniversary actually comes. Okay, so now you're a new player, now you're a returning player, and the anniversary is your big landing point. You're going to see a banner like this. This is a DFE. You're going to see a banner like this. This is a DFE. On one of these banners, the DFE for the previous years will be split, and the other one will be over here. On this one in particular, they actually had the 6 years, both here, and they had the 5 years both here, right? So when we evaluate banners, we can fill in how valuable the DFE banner will be. In this case, it is extremely important as a new player. If you are returning, if you are an old player, you do not care about this. You just pull for whatever the fuck you want, and hopefully you get it. If you are a new player and you are trying to maximize your account going into this anniversary, you need to understand this Goku and this Vegeta are going to appear on one of these banners. If they're smart, they will actually split them up to get the most amount of money out of players like us. The thing is, if the first DFE shows up, if the first DFE banner like this shows up, and it does not feature both of them on a banner, it features one or the other, you're in the clear. If it shows up and these guys are missing, they're probably going on the other one. I think these units, the year 6s, will continue to be strong into 2025. Remember, I just went over that I think they're up here. Yes, there is a chance that the power creep is so much that it's just impossible for them to work, but I think they're so strong right now. I think they've been so strong all year that whatever power creep they decide to go with will not actually, how should I say, age them out completely. I think they will be strong, good revives going into 2025. The other big finds are you need a copy of the God pair. You need a copy of the fours. If you get them, which you should, you will be able to participate in the EZAs coming in February, which should, again, not only contain the theme of this 10th year anniversary, but also probably be some of, if not the strongest characters in the game. These are money characters. The gods and the LR4s are money characters. They are not going to make them weak. It is almost impossible. Just remember, I literally just said that the two EZAs from the 6th anniversary are two of the best characters in the game. These two characters might outage these other DFEs and carnivals that like released that year, right? These two fucking EZAs. So when I say that you need to be going for them, I really mean that shit with like confidence. The other thing you want to look at, and I pulled that here, is what do the leader skills look like? If it was purely for the sake of the game, I would say one, read their kits, of course, because, you know, we don't know. Maybe one of the DFEs is just mid. You know what I mean? I don't think it's possible in the 10th anniversary. I think they are going to look to fucking power creep the game. But let's say one of them is mid in our Magic world, right? They still have the best leader skills. This was probably the best leader skill in the game for quite a bit because transformation boosts full power. This was one of the best leader skills, but really just because of superheroes, right? And the thing that Beast Gohan did, and I did not even get this character, is it meant that this character was no longer needed. Because they were just pretty good to great, or pretty good to pretty great, but their leader skill was completely redundant. Why would you ever run two Gammas when you could run two Beast Gohans? And again, if you're a long time player, if you don't care, if you just want to pull your favorite character, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying that if you are starting Dokkan and you want to make the most out of your account, recognize that these characters are typically put on the best banners to get you to spend, being the Worldwide Download Celebration, the Tanabata Celebration, and the anniversaries. So you will get them on better banners than the average LR or random monthly Dokkan Fest. So with that in mind, it is pretty recommended that you pull for both DFEs. Because one thing you don't want to end up with is this guy, but you also pulled this guy. Because what he then is one slot for another team you will never run. And not to mention the Gammas in this case also did kind of get aged off of their own team, right? That is another big issue. Carnivals are great. We don't know what the new carnival limit will be. We don't even know what the new Dokkan Fest limit will be. But for now, we do need to just operate with the idea that if you're a new player, you want as many of these DFEs as possible because they unlock the ability to run these teams. They are typically the team leaders. And if we go back here, one of the reasons Glorio is so highly vaunted as like a T-War is that he is a super support who you want two of on a team. Because if he's on two, then his support is stacking twice. And he's also leading the team, so he's on double 200%. You know what I mean? That's not really the case with someone like this. Even though he does have a support somewhere. Yeah, here it is. Even though he has a support, it's just like 50% support for like one turn. Like, okay, you know what I mean? Versus a leader skill and 3 turns of support so you can float him. It's just completely different. DFEs, by my charge, are meant to be sort of your leading characters. You see that with him on the Boo. You see that with this guy with his domain. You run 2 of them, he has 2 revives. He puts a revive on each rotation. You see this guy with his domain, because not only does he transform, meaning you could technically link them if you really wanted to, but he has a domain which is really powerful, powers up the whole team. You can get like 8 turns of it or some shit because you transform one, then after it ends you transform the other. DFEs are very powerful. This is, again, I just want to say it so no one is confused. You need to take this into account when you're pulling a bunch of stones, because your stones are limited no matter what. We're going to get a lot of stones for the 10th anniversary, I imagine. Maybe more than any other anniversary. But Dokkan is not in the business of just handing out stones. And once you're done with your new player stones, those stones are static. So you'll only get as much as I'm getting. And there will be no way for you to make up that amount as a free-to-play or a low-spending player. You know what I mean? All right. Final little bit I want to touch on. This is just the last thing. You can see I haven't spent any stones since last time. I spent the 150 during the what was it? The Jiren and Gotenks celebration, and I got Jiren, of course. Since then, I have gone up to 2,300 stones. And remember, I was at like 1998 or some shit like that, right? So I literally have gained like 300 stones just passively playing the game, logging in, doing missions, blah, blah, blah. There are stones here for you. If you are new or returning, I would get on them. The one thing I would also suggest is that it's a very, very tempting thing to use your early stones to pull Glorio. I actually do think Glorio is worth the investment after seeing what he does. I didn't want to say no or yes immediately because I think that's irresponsible. But if you're a new player, I would say that Glorio, if you're getting into Dokkan, you want to be here for the 10th anniversary, but you haven't started, I think Glorio is a good reroll character, right? Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with pulling for a Glorio because he just does so much for the game. Like, look at all the characters I have that are on, like, this lead. You know, characters like Vegito, who is probably, like, these are both Vegito units. Characters like Vegito, who's probably the anniversary unit. And he might be the anniversary unit twice. Because remember I said that Legends and Dokkan tend to share sometimes. So there's 4 Vegito units I have, 5 Vegito units I have. They're all on this tag. I go over here to Accelerated Battle. UI Goku, Super Saiyan 3, Vegito again, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Janemba, UI Goku. Like a great leader skill for potential future characters. If you have been wondering, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, also just remember that Gohan's are on demonic power because of his training with Piccolo, and you can see that this includes the Boos as well. So a very good lead to have for future characters. DAIMA is not going anywhere. DAIMA will get LRs. DAIMA will get Golden Week this year probably. DAIMA is going to get like a big character for Tanabata maybe. I would expect DAIMA because they are definitely cooking a new fusion, I think. And I mean, Glorio's going to lead that character. You know what I mean? So if you're new, if you're returning, if you have a bunch of extra stones, the get one free, the buy one get one free is still on, and it's tempting, man. It's tempting for me, you know what I mean, because Glorio is phenomenal. So that's just it. Gonna end the video there. Continue to enjoy Dokkan. Like if you like the video, subscribe to join the club. We all go make it. Peace.